going on there, YouTube? Saturday night again. Off to a late start today. Had a family come up, so I've been up all day and didn't sleep much since I work nights, and I ended up sleeping all afternoon. So it's about 10 o'clock. I'm just now getting out here and just trying to figure out what to do. I really want to work on the rock crawler build, on the rat crawler build, but I don't have anything for it yet. I did receive notification today that my body has shipped, and pretty excited about that. I'm out here trying to brainstorm ideas right now for the Sand Scorcher, doing the Apocalypse body. I went ahead and threw on the rear hatch and tail lights, the little tailgate license plate light cover thingy. I don't know. I was thinking two different ideas for the windows, about doing a metal mesh as well as a I don't know if you've seen that movie Death Race. They have like metal slats over the windows with little gaps between them. Looking at different options. I'm really not sure what I want to do just yet, so I'm probably not going to enforce it. I did get some tires and wheels in. These are R19 Rock Crushers on some China wheels. They look pretty good. I'm thinking about these for the rat crawler. I know they're a little bit pretty, but it's a good size. They're about the same height as the 155s, but I wanted a little more wheel. Those 155s aren't very aggressive. Well, they're pretty aggressive, but they're not the right kind of tread for a rock crawler. So pick these up. I got a really good deal on them. That's the main reason I bought them. I think I got them for like $56 shipped. Tires and wheels mounted, all brand new, ready to go. So not a bad deal. I like them. We'll see how the build progresses. See how that red looks on there. Might have to do something about that. Let's see. I really don't have anything to do on the mud truck. I hate that he's stuck waiting on parts. Like the only thing I got is the Sand Scorcher, and I don't have the other body yet, so I'm not sure the direction I want to take this one all the way. Yeah, let me get some metal cut out, and we'll take a better look at some of my ideas here. Alright guys, I got distracted with some other work, which I'll show you here in a little bit. I went in and cut some chunks out of my mesh trash can, and just kind of doing it like this, kind of mocking it up, drawing some lines where to cut it. I'm planning on just hot gluing from the inside. I think that's going to be the easiest way. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to do the side windows or what yet. Just going to start here on the back, and we'll see what happens. Alright guys, so I did the back sides, the vent windows, and the rear window. Not sure yet what I want to do about the windshield. I've got a lot of ideas stirring, and I'm not sure what direction I want to go yet, so I'm not going to rush it. My hot glue gun got a little too hot, started smoking, melting itself. It's one of those little cheap things. It was like $6 at Hobby Lobby. But I'm happy with it so far. It looks pretty rough. The hot glue is pretty messy inside. It's, you know, hot glue is hot glue. Pulled all the strings off of it that I could. Windows are in pretty solid though. Mesh anyway. Yeah, I'm just not sure what direction I want to go yet. I've got this. I got this on eBay out of China. It had a stand, but the leg broke. I've just had it on display around the house for a while. It's pretty good size, but I don't know where to mount it. That's the problem. I need somewhere where it makes sense, because obviously the belt has to feed from an ammo can. So I don't know. I'm not sure yet how hardcore I want to take this. Now I am planning a lot of weathering. That's why I went ahead. I bolted up the taillights and the rear hatch handle. I will paint those on the body. I'm not worried about the black base coat. I think we'll be able to work around that and or on top of that. That way everything gets an even patina. All the handles, the window vents. I don't want to weather the frame a whole lot. We'll worry about that once we do the other body. Like I said, I'm doing a more retro dune buggy themed body, as well as this Apocalypse body. But yeah, this is like an $8 trash can. It's come in handy. I use it for the grill, for the rat rod. I've got the green one. Used it for a grill on a number 3 rat rod. Lots of uses. But yeah, I'm gonna go move a different direction now and show you something else I've been working on. Alright guys, the number 4 rat rod body. Remember in the last Saturday night video, I had sprayed it with some really heavy coats of the gloss hunter green. It's a really cool color with patina, and that's what I did the number 1 build in. And my plan was to wet sand it to knock down some of the ridges in the 3D print and then paint it again. But after wet sanding it, I used a 1000 grit paper just over the kitchen sink with the water running on it. I got most of the gloss off. You can see a few dimples here and there. You can see the ridges on the side, and that was some of the high points. It was only on this side that the print had some lines in it. So got those knocked back down to the plastic, and it feels pretty smooth. You can still feel them a little bit. You know, we're going for a rat rod, so I'm not trying to get a show quality mirror finished body here. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and weather on top of this. I think the way those look, the rust is gonna take to it different. You still see some marks from the water, but it's dry. It's been drying for about an hour now. This side looks a little bit different. I bought this, I primered it, I sanded it, primed and sanded a few times. I wasn't able to get those ridges out of the pasture side. So I painted it yellow. I was thinking American Graffiti. And it didn't look good at all. So I went ahead and I think I primered and sanded after the yellow. I don't remember. I've had this thing going for a while. So last weekend I put a really heavy flat black coat on it, and I ran out of flat black. So I used the red that I painted the number 2 rat rod, and it was on the roof. So it was kind of red from here up, black from there down. And, you know, because it didn't matter, I'm just trying to fill it. Trying to fill in the body. So yeah, some of the red came out, some of the black came out, some of the white, some of the yellow. There's a good mix of colors, so I think I'm just going to weather on top of that. I'm happy with you know, it made some of the body lines pop. You can see a lot more of the detail on it, and in the meantime it knocked down some of the high points on the print. Because I got this body from Shapeways, and even as nice as their printers were, it still had a few little ridges in it, but not anything bad at all. I mean, it was still manageable, easy to work with. It just I think because this body is really thick. This body is almost 5 mil thick. And that's part of the reason why it was so expensive. This print was 170-ish maybe. It was pretty expensive, so I think that's mainly because it was so thick. But yeah, I'm just gonna roll with it. I'm gonna get set up. We'll do this in high speed, so as to maybe not make another 1.5 hour long video. Like to keep it under an hour, but you know, I get a few people that don't have time to watch it, and I got quite a few people that like to watch it. They'll watch it in sections here, a day here, a little bit here, you know. So it's cool, and I appreciate everybody making an effort to watch my long videos. Like I said last week, I went into that third. I don't think this is the 4th Saturday night video. So I went into the 3rd one to try to make it shorter, and it did not come out short. It came out twice as long. So anyway, I'm gonna get set up, and we'll speed things up here. Alright guys, so I got one heavy coat on. I took the fan off directly off of it. I'm worried it might dry a little too fast. Now the fun part. Try to wipe it. I don't know what y'all think about that angle. That was something new my new tripod is capable of doing. It can lean all over the place and do lots of cool stuff. So that was the first time I've tried it, and it was pretty sturdy, I think. Alright, so it's been a while since I've done this. I'm worried I will overdo it, so I think I'm going to go ahead and start wiping. This stuff stains kind of, it almost smells like a deck stain or something you would stain your fence with. It's very potent. I'm wiping just lightly, repositioning the shirt to a different spot periodically so I don't keep smearing the same spot. I don't want to have anything too lightly done. And it pretty much it gets in near all the low spots and stains the paint itself. Gives you a age. It's almost like dyeing something with tea or coffee. I don't know if anybody's ever done that. You can do that to fabric items. I'm liking the look so far. I'm not sure how the other side's going to come out with the white spots showing through. I was going to paint the numbers on this. I'm not sure. I may still go back and try to do that. You know, I've got my rigs numbered except for the first one. I just kind of got ahead of myself. I wet sanded this and got so excited about how it looked that I didn't think about doing my number. But it's looking pretty good. I love the satin look that you get after wet sanding. It's a lot of work just doing it all by hand, but man, it really looks cool. Like I said, I'm not trying to get in every little nook and cranny. I'm just kind of wiping down at certain angles just to just for the effect. Man, that looks really good. Like I said, I don't know about the white side here. It's the side with the ridges showing. Might be a little too much, but man. Alright, I'm going to stop while I'm ahead. And we'll put this thing up and let it dry for a bit. And see what we get. Alright guys, so while that's drying, I want to talk about the rat crawler. I got a notification today, actually, or yesterday now, since it's after midnight, from Shapeways saying my prints were on their way. So, pretty excited about that. I mentioned on Facebook I bought an Axial Deadbolt Rtr, ready to go, and that is going to be the donor vehicle for this rig. I got that for, was it $2.99? It's a pretty good deal. I mean, it has a radio, 3-channel radio, ESC motor, transmission, axles, links, tons of parts I'll need. And I'll be able to sell some of the stuff I don't need, like the body and the frame rails and stuff like that. So, make a little bit of my money back. I spent all week shopping online, looking at local used RCs, trying to find some kind of SCX10 base that was affordable, and really, that was the best deal. Even on eBay, there was it was just the chassis of a deadbolt. No electronics, but it had the axles mounted, no tires, wheels, no body, no electronics, basically. And it was like $230. So I opted to spend the extra $60 for all the electronics, and now I have a complete, ready to run setup to throw on this truck. So I'm really hoping it comes together quick. I do have a lot of metal work left, and have some more body work once we get the cab from Shapeways. But that's all the fun stuff. So other than that, I don't have to worry about electronics. I did do some checking around the day. Went out to lunch with my parents, and we went to Atwood. It's like a tractor supply type place, kind of a country store. So I found some sheet metal. I didn't buy it because I was afraid my mom would try to buy it for me, so I didn't buy it while I was there. But I found a heavier gauge steel that I think I can still cut. It may be a pain to cut, but I need to make a few things for this chassis. I need a cross member here to mount the transmission. I do need to have the transmission here before I make a decision as to if it goes on top of the rails or the bottom of the rails. I forgot to even point out when I made this chassis. Typically, my number 2 build, my number 3 rat rods, I would make one rail like this and then cut it in half. And it's a huge pain. My bandsaw doesn't cut good enough. It's not big enough and strong and powerful enough to cut nice and even through this 1/4-inch tubing. And the number 2 and number 3s I did with a Dremel, and went through about 4 or 5 cut-off discs, and just dust everywhere. And it's a huge undertaking. It takes hours, and then it's never even. And then I had the problems with the number 3 that once I cut that in half, the welds were weak, and then trying to keep everything square while you re-weld stuff, it was a pain. So on this one, I opted to keep the rails square and just make 2 identical rails. And I'm just that's part of what lent this to be for a crawler. All that weight down on the bottom, I think, is gonna play to the benefit here. I'm not sure yet about battery mount. That's always the thing, is steering mount and battery mounts with these rat rods. Where can I put stuff? Because I want to run a normal stick pack, and I'm not sure yet until I get the body. I won't know how wide it is. It should be close to the hot rod size, or almost exactly the hot rod size. It's hard to gauge that with a tape measure reading offline, so got it pretty close, I think. But yeah, it's I think it's going to come together quick. I'm planning on welding in some gussets. That's why I was looking at the thicker steel also, to support the frame, as well as give me a place to mount my 4-link mounts. This is going to be a dedicated rock crawler. It's going to use the SCX-10, the original SCX-10, not the 2. For some reason I thought that would look better. I almost bought an SCX-10 2, but I figured if I got an SCX-10 2, I'm not going to tear it apart. I want to drive it. And then I late night on eBay, planning to buy something to part out to build another rig, I ended up with an SCX-10 2 kit, one of the hard body XJ Cherokee bodies, the interior. I mean, I had $900 of stuff in my shopping cart, and I was like, this is not going to work. A, I don't have that much money, and B, I need parts. I don't need another crawler project. Can spin out of control pretty quickly, so that's why I opted for the Deadbolt. It was $300 shipped, has everything I need, and we might run it once or twice before we tear it apart, just do it. I'll do an unboxing on it and stuff like that, but it is for the parts. And yeah, I am still pretty set on using this Kevin Kirk scale racing engine on this build. None of my other scale engines fit, and this just sets perfectly in the chassis. It is, like I said before, it couldn't have been fit any better if I designed it for it. So that's still the plan, and I'm still planning on using this Awesome Designs Farmall tractor grill. If those are on the Shapeways store, give him a shout, or check out the Shapeways store. He's got those, and our RC Everyday Design style, not designed, I didn't design them. But I had some creative input, but he does all the designing. But those racing seats are the bomber seats that are going to be in the number 3 rat rod. You recognize the picture on the Shapeways store. They're of the ones that I've finished and put a cushion on and all that. But yeah, I'm planning on using that grill on this build, and I've got a stack growing of scale parts. So once I get the kit and the body, I'll have everything I need. And that's really new for me, because typically when you're building these scratch things, it's like I work a weekend and then I'll be like, okay, so now I need this and this, and I'll have to order it and wait on it and pick back up the next weekend. So it's going to be exciting to see how quickly it comes together. I'm hoping everything looks like it's going to be here before next weekend. So next Saturday night looks like it's going to be pretty well dedicated to this build. I will only be able to do it to a certain point until we have to do the tube work, and I really should do a lot of that before I do the suspension, because I need to weld on all this. So I can't mount much to the chassis yet. I don't want to mount my plastic transmission or my plastic axles and stuff and then have to take it all off and put it back on. So, test fit like that. So it's all about the planning. You gotta try to time it out so everything jives together and you don't have to do the same thing 100 times. I hate that about building custom stuff, is all the trial and error is fun, but when you completely install an engine and you have to take it out of a car, stuff like that, that gets tedious. So do a little bit more planning ahead. Hopefully have a better outcome. So you remember me talking about how there's no bodies out there, no hard bodies that fit the TAO2 short wide. I found one. Not the Apocalypse version, but my God, it couldn't fit any better. I mean, the way the front of the body here just sits right in front of the shocks, covers the bumper mount. The steps are almost parallel with the bottom of the frame. I mean, it just could not fit better. The wheelbase is perfect, and the width, I mean, it sticks out a little bit in the front. The back tucks just about evenly. I think with the right size tire, this could look pretty cool. I don't know about the rear. There's no real way to throw a scale engine on there, but I don't know. I may be onto something here. That Sand Scorcher body fits pretty well, and it might be a neat way to utilize that frame for something, since I just keep looking at it with that Lexan body on it, not doing anything with it. Let me show you the side and the back, or the front and the back. I mean, that fits pretty good. Let's think of how to make a Baja Bug a street machine or a drift car or something. That wow, that's pretty wild. You gotta give it to Tamiya, man. They just love Tamiya stuff. It always seems to work out like that. It's pretty crazy. These are the little bitty tiny drift wheels and tires from the, what was that, the HPI Cup Racer. So maybe with a normal 1.9 and a rubber setup on there, might look pretty cool. I mean, heck, you could throw a rally setup on that and use that body. That would be pretty cool. I'm not sure how to mount it yet, but it couldn't be too hard. That body mounts fairly easy, fairly simple setup. And yeah, I was just sitting here looking at it and trying to figure out what else to do with this body, and I happened to look over at that Porsche. You could take that rear bumper off right here and figure out some kind of scale engine to mount to the rear of the rear gearbox. You have an all-wheel drive bug machine. I don't know. It's just thinking about it. I'm just out here kind of brainstorming right now, and still waiting on that rat rod body to dry. Thought that was pretty cool. Thought I'd share it with you. Not sure if anybody's interested in this, but I know Jason might be. The Awesome Designs 1/8 scale. I think they're 1/8 scale version of the bomber seats. They fit damn near perfect in the Sand Scorcher body as well. This thing is so versatile. I mean, I've found so many uses for it already. I don't know where to stop. So I'm just gonna keep playing, guys. I know I'm not really working on anything right now. I'm still waiting on the rat rod body to dry back there. But this is what a lot of the hobby is for me, is just screwing around out here, just playing around, trying different things out, seeing what works, get an idea, and just roll with it. It's part of the fun, just experimenting with different bodies, different frames, different tires and wheels, and seeing what works, what looks cool. So That's where I'm at. Alright guys, one last thing before we wrap this video up. I am trying something a little out of my comfort zone, a little beyond my skill set here. I have cut a strip of metal trying to frame the windshield. It's pretty close. I'm going to mark it. I'm going to try to braze in slats. I've got these strips here that I've cut. I'm trying to keep them straight. They wanted to bow. Every time you cut anything with these tin snips, they curl up on you. So I'm going to try to braze them together and make a slatted windshield. I don't know how this is going to work, but we'll give it a shot. I'm already so far involved, so we'll see. Well, never mind guys. I am out of map gas for my torch. Now, you're probably thinking, why don't you just weld it? Well, my welder will burn through this thin, I think it's 16 gauge, I'm not sure, but it will just melt through it. I tried to weld some stuff with it last night, and yeah, that metal is just too thin. So brazing is my option. I'm out of map gas. I have oxygen. Usually the oxygen burns faster, so typically I'm out of oxygen, which I think I have a spare can of that as well. But yeah, let me move all this out of the way, and we'll pick this up again later. So I'll pick up another tank, and we'll take a look at the number 4 rat rod body and see where we are at on that. Alright guys, so it's looking pretty good. Again, learning from mistakes. My number 2 build looked pretty good, and I weathered it on top of the AK rust streaks with a black pigment, and it looked great. But as it dried over time, it started looking real dull and it looks like there's powder all over it. So I'm not going to do that anymore. I need to go to the hobby shop and look for an AK product like this that is a black pigment. I've got a bunch of black washes, but they're just too runny. They won't stay where they need to stay. So I'm on the hunt for a new product or a new technique to give me black details on this type of finish without drying it out and making it look like a powdery mess on top of the paint. Because as you can see, this still has a little bit of a sheen to it. Like I said, this was a gloss paint to start with, and you know, wet sanding and then the rust on top of that smooth surface, and it still maintains a little bit of shine. So I really dig in the look. This side's a bit more aggressive. Excuse me. And that's part of the reason why I need to add another layer of depth to it. I need to add a black wash to help darken those light spots. Hindsight, I probably should have went ahead and done another coat of green. Not a heavy coat, just a light coat. And then wet sanded it again, and then done all this. Just to knock those down. I was hoping they would hold a little bit more of the rusty look. They don't look bad, but we might hit it again with the rust streaks, the whole thing, just to try and darken it up a little bit more. I'm gonna let this stuff dry good for a couple days though before I do that. That's another awesome side effect of these long videos where I'm not just focused on one build, so I don't have to rush through stuff. So while we waited on that to dry, we'll go work on the Sand Scorcher. When we get the Sand Scorcher ready to weather, we'll do that, and then we'll come back to this. You know, we can bounce around and be more versatile, and it'll help me keep taking my time and not rushing stuff like I used to. So that's where we're at. I think it looks pretty good. A little too much on that side. Those are a little too uniform. Those white marks. They weathered nicely, but excuse me, they need to be a bit darker. So yeah, like I said, we're gonna look for a black streak type thing. I'll have to get online and do some looking. I've got crusted rust. I've got lots of different shades of crusted rust, but I haven't figured out quite how to use those yet. Like I said, I got pretty good with the pigments, but the pigments kind of dull everything out too much. So I like to keep that semi-gloss sheen underneath all the patina. But other than that side, this side looks excellent. I'm pretty happy with the black showing through. Get you a closer look there. There you go. You can see there's so much detail on that side popping out. So I'm really digging that. Let me mock this thing up here, and we'll get a better look at kind of what we're looking at for a final product. Alright guys, so there you can see kind of get an idea of what we're looking at. It's still the cantilever rear chassis that I had. No front axle yet. I haven't figured out any of that. I do have semi-truck tires for this, but I've got to get some 1.7 steel wheels, so can't get anything mocked up yet. Like I said, I don't want this to be a dually or anything odd. I just want it to be a hot rod. I've mocked it up with the tractor grill from Awesome Designs again. Just looks cool. That's the 1/8 scale blown Chevy engine. I don't know what kit or anything that came from. I just found it on eBay and bought it. Couldn't pass up the deal. So yep, that's what we got to look forward to. Lots more rust, lots more wear. Got the Sand Scorcher and 2 different bodies on that. So anyways, let's wrap this thing up. Alright guys, so that's it for this Saturday night. It's been a long day. Got a late start, so I feel like I didn't get as much done as I was hoping. This thing, I just on a whim, I just saw that when I was setting up the camera here, and I was like, maybe that'll look good on that chassis. That's what I'm talking about. You just get out in your workshop, get out in your your desk, wherever you work on your RCs, and just start messing around. See what you can come up with, man. It's all about just being creative, coming up with your own ideas, something original, something cool. Whether it be hot rods, sand scorchers, mud trucks, crawlers, monster trucks, on-road cars, drift cars, it don't matter. It's all about just doing something different, making the hobby more interesting. So, yep. Again, I can't, he's not paying me. I can't help promote Awesome Designs enough. He's a great guy. He's doing some awesome work, literally. And these seats, that grill, all that stuff's available through Shapeways. He's got a store. And the Shapeways print quality is fantastic. If you haven't seen a video on these, check it out. I try some chrome paint and then do some work on it. It's pretty cool. So I'm hoping my Sand Scorcher window louver thing pans out. I gotta get the more map gas. Apparently that tank wasn't turned off all the way, so it leaked out over time. But that kind of stuff happens. I've got an arc welder, I got a MIG welder now, I've got map gas oxygen torch. Got lots of different options, lots of different ways to create this stuff. And that's what it's all about, is just learning and doing, seeing what all you're actually capable of doing. And that's the thing, you don't know unless you try. And I encourage everyone to get out and try. You may not fail, or you may not succeed the first time. I haven't. I've had plenty of failures, and that's just the name of the game, but you never know until you try. You might fail 3 times and then learn enough through that process to do it right the 4th. And that's what my hot rod builds were supposed to be. It was supposed to be just each one was a prototype for something that was amazing. And my number 2 build was pretty awesome. That was far beyond the number 1 build. So I'm still kind of struggling to get beyond that. This was the number 3 chassis. And you see it looks better with this truck cab on it than it does with the number 3 rat rod. So you can't force it. You just got to let the creativity flow. And you got to have the imagination and the skill you can learn, the skill you can teach yourself. You don't have to be trained or have someone show you. You can get online and read about it, watch some videos, and figure out how to do it yourself. And that's what this channel is all about. It's just trying to encourage everyone, get out and give it a shot. Doesn't matter what it is. So anyways, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see y'all next Saturday probably. So have a good week and keep it scale.